Still in the House, 10 members of Parliament have reintroduced the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill 2025, widely known as the Anti-LGBTQ+ Bill, for its first reading in Parliament. The proposed law seeks to impose strict penalties on LGBTQ+ activities in Ghana, including same-sex relationships, public display of affection, and the promotion of LGBTQ+ content. It also bans transgender healthcare, dissolves related organizations, and criminalizes support or sponsorship for such groups. We are now joined via Zoom by one of the bill sponsors and Member of Parliament for Ascent South, John Ntim Fordjour, for more. Thank you very much, Honourable, for your time.
For having me, Fema.
Right now, tell us the key motivation behind reintroducing this bill, especially after the previous one lapsed.
Good evening to you and good evening to your viewers. In 2021, when the Afro-Barometer survey was conducted, the report and the outcome was that 93% of our population indeed find our values, our tradition, and our beliefs in the binary nature of gender very important. They also find our values regarding marriage as between man and woman very important, and they consider the activities of LGBT and other dimensions of it highly repugnant to our values and what we stand for. And so for a matter that is at the heart and the passion of 93% of the population is one which needs the appropriate legislation to be able to adequately and comprehensively deal with the matter and to be able to ensure that we have that framework that sufficiently deals with any infractions that will arise to threaten that very value that is so important to 93% of the population. And when the same procedures were begun in 2021, we saw how this matter took public interest. There were various opinions on it, albeit its majority were in favor of the bill. But right from the outset, from the introduction, first reading, second reading, stakeholder consultation, all the way to second reading and third reading when it was passed, there were many legal battles. There were many lawsuits. Even when it was finally passed at the third reading, there were lawsuits that had injuncted Parliament and stayed the hands of Parliament from transmitting that bill to the President for assenting. And that matter went on and until sometime latter part of December, when election was gone and when the 8th Parliament was already, almost expired before we saw finality of the matter. So it has gone through a lot of legal challenges. And now, as the 8th Parliament has expired, but the matter still remains one that is of utmost importance to both parties, NDC, MPP, and it's also very important to the overwhelming majority of Ghanaians. We have reintroduced it in the shape and form that was passed, and we have 10 sponsors. It used to be 8 sponsors in the previous legislation, but now we have 10. Honorable Sam George is still a part. Honorable Helen Ntonso, Honorable Bedra, they are all part. Honorable Tampuli, Honorable Kabiru, Honorable Tonemie, Honorable Eko Asifwa, Honorable SOA, all of them are very, although SOA are all very key parts of this bill, which has now been advertised on the order paper of Parliament and ready to be taken for first reading at any time the Speaker so calls for it.
Very well. Now, it's been some years, now it has been reintroduced. Are we still working with 93% of Ghanaians who are going with you, or now it's just a moral stance that you are taking? And is that also supposed to mean that we are just going straight with the bill as it was presented earlier? Nothing at all has changed?
Not much has changed. The substance of it is still the same. It was Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill 2021, and Freeman now it's Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill 2025. Of course, if you would find any change at all, it would just be some rephrasing and how the construct may have been varied and enhanced, but the substance has not in any way been altered at all. So it's the same objective, the same objects, the same regimes, the same framework, the same legislation that has been reintroduced. And the support that and the position of overwhelming majority of Ghanaians has not changed. That position has not changed, and I do not have any contrary evidence to the effect that that position has shifted in any way. And so we are proceeding in that unanimous, understanding, and to unite our strength around it. We would urge at this point the media, the clergy, traditional leaders, CSOs, all who have consistently supported this principle right from 2021 when we began to renew their commitment and to renew that collective pursuit on the bill, because the purpose is the same, the need is still paramount, and even recent events have indicated that there is even more urgent steps that need to be taken. You recall recently when some two gentlemen who hold themselves out as gay couple visited Ghana and desecrated the Independence Square and some very sensitive, monuments of the state. They were all wake-up calls to the fact that Ghanaians still require this bill to be able to, restore sanctity and to maintain sanctity of our values. And so it's very much a priority and it's very much important to overwhelming majority of Ghana. And in response to that is what consistently we are pursuing this legislation.
Now, what bipartisan support, if any, are you receiving from MPs outside the initial sponsors, or now the 10 that you have?
Yeah, so we have 275 MPs, all of them unanimously supporting the Speaker of Parliament, Right Honorable Speaker Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbane has been resolute, unflinching. In fact, he has been very much on top of his principles and has been consistent. He has supported the bill right from the beginning, and even now he is still very much supportive. All the 276 members of Parliament that are in Parliament currently, we have not had any indication from any member, any colleague who has a dissenting view. And just as we carried this bill through in a bipartisan way, with no dissent from any political side, and where we were able to pass this unanimously without a single member of Parliament dissenting, we have so far also got signals from our colleagues who are all in support. We are yet to receive any dissenting view. And so as the processes go through and as we commence them, really commence them, and as we go through the necessary stages of stakeholder consultation, or the second reading amendments, and eventually the third reading, if there are, or if there is any dissenting position from any of our colleagues, I'm sure they may bring it up. But for now, we have very strong indications from all of them that they unanimously support this bipartisan bill that is promoting the interests and the sanctity of our values as a nation.
Now, quickly before you go, Honorable, how confident are you that, this reintroduction to Parliament will not be like what we had previously, that it will have presidential assent?
Our optimism is stemmed on the fact that all the gray areas, all the arguments, and all the opinions that were controversial, that needed to be settled, that needed a determination to be pronounced upon, all those have gone through various courts, all the way to Supreme Court. And all those opinions and all the counter-arguments have been settled. And Supreme Court eventually held that no aspect of this bill or provision, affronts any part of the Constitution. Neither does the bill infringe upon any international treaty or convention on human rights. And for that, every dissenting view that were expressed by any stakeholder has been settled, and the matter has been put in perspective without any doubt at all. So it is not expected that there are still outstanding issues to be determined on it, for which it should suffer the plethora of legal suits that it did from the beginning. And for that, the expectation is that the processes will rather grind very fast for us to be able to pass this bill much faster than we got it, because the interest that we received and all the different sets of opinions that was that we interacted with and engaged from the beginning and addressed have paved the way for the bill not to suffer any impediments that may be anticipated. And so it is the expectation that we'll go through this bill very quickly, and then the president may take a decision on it.
Very well, Member of Parliament for Asin South, Honorable.
But
Yes,
Freeman,
yes. Quickly.
Yeah, just before we go,
right.
I started this conversation this morning with City, ChannelOne TV and City, and it generated some interest, which were not what we talked about.
Right.
We dealt with it on Eyewitness News, but I thought that it's important and appropriate on this platform that we indicate that contrary to the inaccurate news cards that were published by your sister outlets online, we have set the record straight. The voice has been played, and indeed your station, in all sincerity, has acknowledged and conceded that anyone who is peddling the falsehood that I said and blamed President Akufo-Addo for not signing the bill, and that was the reason why MPP lost the election 2024. It is false, it is inaccurate, and I never said that. And I thought that on your platform is important. I reiterate the point that never have I said anywhere, neither on your platform or elsewhere, that President Akufo-Addo failed to sign this bill. And that was a reason, because President Akufo-Addo did not have the opportunity to receive the bill to take a decision on it, because it was legally challenged. A suit injuncted the hand of Parliament from transmitting it to the president, and that is what all of us know.
Very well.
It's important we settle that.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Honorable John Ntim Fordjour, for that interview. Now, away from Parliament, the National Health Insurance Authority, NHIA, has expressed deep sorrow following